Well, Dave, I've noticed you've been watching a lot of the younger guys these last few days. Obviously, with slow playing some of the big league guys and just understanding that it might take them some more time. How valuable is this camp for some of those younger guys to really prove themselves?
It's very important. I think that I've got a pretty good handle on the guys that we've had for a while. I'm trying to, learn the younger guys on the pitching side, on the position player side, and get more familiar. So yeah, I'm spending a little bit more time, and I just want to make sure that the standard of performance and preparation is what it needs to be.
Yeah. Is there anyone that's kind of stood out to you thus far?
Yeah, obviously we have a good group of outfielders. I like the Tibbs, Earhart, DePaula, George group. Those guys are that's a nice group. Um, Fitzgerald, I like him in the infield. Um, there's some young pitchers that I'm seeing. I'm still trying to learn them, which is good to see. So yeah, I think that there's certainly a lot of talent in this group, and each day I'm trying to learn a little bit more.
Dave, the other day you talked about Freeland being more mature this camp. What have you seen from Rushing, and what do you expect? What do you need from Rushing this year?
Dalton's in a good spot right now. I think just trying to understand, I want him to understand, his role, as a backup catcher, what that entails, really learn the pitchers, learn a swing that works for playing a couple times a week. He's used to playing a lot more. But I think that just kind of still maturing because it's not easy to not play every day when you're used to that. But again, I think that he grew last year, and I like where he's at right now.
How much do you envision using him at first base when Freddie gets days off, or you take him out early? And is the outfield still a possibility? Is he going to be more than just a backup catcher?
Outfield's not on the table. I do think that there's going to be some spots for him to, come into games if Freddie's out, or if there's a game he doesn't play. We'll see how that lines up. And I think right now for me, just seeing how the roster plays out as far as what other options we might have at first base. But I do want to get him at bats, when I can.
Dalton did admit like some of the opportunities he got last year kind of caught him by surprise. Is that one of those things that you really have to emphasize with him, like what the opportunity is in front of him, what his role is in front of him, sort of going forward?
Um, yeah, I think that also comes with experience, knowing that you don't know when you're going to come into a game, but you're watching and you're expecting to go into the game. Understand the scoreboard, and you're the last guy on the bench that potentially could catch and play first base, and to get your first baseman off his feet. Where as you start to watch and learn, you expect those spots, and you shouldn't be surprised. So, I expect that to be, gone now this year.
How difficult is it for a young hitter to develop with that kind of a role, scattered playing time?
It's not easy. It's hard. That's why I think that you got to simplify things. I think that not necessarily lower expectations, but understand what are wins and what are not wins. So, because players are designed to look at production, but when you're not playing every day as a young player who could always use the repetitions, production isn't always just getting hits. But yeah, I mean, ideally, you'd love for him to get 500 at bats this year to continue to evolve and catch innings. But looking at the depth chart, I think he'd still choose to be a major league player.
Dalton is a very fiery guy. Have you had any conversations with him about trying to kind of like stay within himself?
Not yet, not yet. I had those last year, but I'm kind of reading and reacting, I guess. So he understands that he needs to, manage his emotions, but I don't want to, take that away as far as, the fire, because he is an emotional guy, and that's not always a bad thing. But you got to understand how to manage it at times too.
Dave, it's only been a couple of days, but what are your first impressions of Kyle Tucker in spring training? And you had him address the team. Just kind of what are your first impressions of Tuck?
I like Tuck. I think he's learning the landscape of what we do. He knows what he needs to do to get ready. Very simple, and yeah, I think he just wants to play baseball, and so I think he's a pretty easy player to manage from what I've seen so far.
Just kind of what's the plan for him early in camp?
I think early in camp he'll probably start on Sunday and take a couple at bats, and then play on Tuesday, and then we'll kind of go from there.
How unique is his swing, especially kind of seeing it up close and the way it all works?
It's unique in the sense of he can hit with power. He can hit to all fields. He stays on plane. He hits lefties and righties. It's a simple swing, and he controls the hitting zone really well. And like I said, he just really knows how to conduct an at bat and knows what it takes to get him ready to. He's a pro hitter, and he's one of the best hitters in the game. So we're lucky to have him.
Dave, do you have a starter for your Cactus League opener on Saturday?
Yeah, Yamamoto. Yamamoto's going to start.
Do you have any idea on which regulars or how many will be in that one?
I don't. I would expect Will Smith to be in there. I would expect Freddie to be in there. I expect Teo to be in there, and probably Andy. And then I think that's safe, and then we'll go from there.
When you talk about slow playing some of these guys, do you mean like how you were talking about Kyle Tucker in the sense of getting him in there on Sunday and then Tuesday, so getting these guys just multiple days of rest in between Cactus League games?
I think that's part of it, but also, guys like Mookie and Muntz, I'm going to kind of start those guys a little bit later than this weekend and see where we go. That's kind of it. And then once they get going, then we'll stagger and, give them the ample time in between. But you still I got to appreciate that it's a longer spring. And so if they're going to be here for 6 weeks, those guys, then I don't want to kind of, come in too hot. I want to kind of pace them out a little bit.
Did Yamamoto make multiple starts before leaving for the WBC, or is that still up in the air?
Probably not.
Dave, with some of the early injuries you're navigating in your bullpen, what sort of opportunities does that present for guys like Klein and Enriquez here at camp?
Yeah, it's an opportunity, and I think that competition is healthy. Health is of the most important thing as far as we look out to the season and who's going to be healthy and who's going to be ready. But yeah, Enriquez, Klein, those guys are all in the mix, and we have a lot of viable candidates. And for me, it's just build up, compete, get better each day, and then kind of, once we ultimately got to make a decision, hopefully we have some great options.
See Almonte back there today?
I heard we signed him, and I'm happy to have him back, and I think he's still kind of working his way back. But yeah, I'm excited about that.